So let's sit down and sift through the information so that we can now take a stepping stone platform. Okay, who was Jesus? What did he teach and preach, which we have discussed? And now what does that mean to me? You know, did he preach a finalized message, which is another thing that we discussed, that he did not preach a finalized message. He preached an intermediary message from one messenger to the next, leading to something else, which was part of his final message, that what I have to say to you is not yet finished. And that was one of my purest things towards my Christian counterparts, was that, look, Jesus said himself his message wasn't done. So we need to look and find where's the end of the message. Since he didn't finish it, what finished it? Where did it come and complete itself? And this is where we have to put the Islamic perspective in, to show people that Jesus was a stepping stone, that all the messengers of God, starting with Noah, peace be upon him, pointed forward to something else, and even Jesus himself. And then the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, very clearly stated that those messengers all pointed forward to me.
So can you say that for those people that I'm just trying to have them identify with us, that when you really grasp this extension of the message that all the messengers of God brought and taught, the purpose of life, worshiping one God, doing good deeds, developing yourself to be noble, having righteous character, this is how you can truly, because those people were out there at the nightclubs, chasing man and woman, fornicating and doing drugs, they'll never have true peace until they truly understand the purpose of life. And this is, like you said, that stepping stone so you can get through the confusion, so you can submit intellectually, because this is something that it doesn't take too much mental gymnastics to make fit. It makes sense. What we're talking about is 1 + 1, ABC.
Yes, absolutely. This is very clear that, people who are out there living that lifestyle, that very fast-paced lifestyle in the nightclubs, in the streets, and all of these things, we all know that those people, at the end of the road, they always come to a point to where they say that none of this really satisfied me. It was kind of a bandage for a while. It made me feel good for a period of time, but then you're always left with that down phase again. This is what leads to addictions, is that people have to continuously fulfill that hole inside of themselves. But when people decide to sober up, whether it be from drugs or alcohol or from that fast-paced lifestyle, they realize that I need something more defined in my life. And this is what we're trying to offer them, that definition of life. What is life? What does it mean? And how can I adjust myself to be more in line with the purpose of why I'm here?
That's right, that's right. And this way of life will stimulate you intellectually. It provides all the scientific, logical evidences, and we're going to continue talking about this with my guest back on the Deen Show, Joshua Evans. Sit tight, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Death and the day of judgment, the mercy of Allah. These are the things that finally made me realize there is no time to delay anymore. I wanted to take my shahada right then.
The essence of spirituality is to become more sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Contemplate death itself. It is very, very scary, but it brings you back to reality. There is a life which is everlasting in the hereafter. And you have to make a conscious decision of which group of people do you want to be of, the people of heaven or the people of hell.
Allahu Akbar.
Back here on the Deen Show with Joshua Evans, we did the top 10 reasons why Jesus, peace be upon him, is not God, never claimed to be God. You can go to thedeenshow.com to watch this show that we did together, an amazing, amazing show that really, benefited so many people. Now, there were some angry people. There was a minute few that we had discussed that now they couldn't tackle this intellectually, and it stirred up so much emotion that they'll try to flip it and say, you know what? Islam is violent, Islam is about terrorism, Islam is just about oppression of women, and they start to throw sticks and stones. And did you get some of this?
I absolutely did, and that kind of happens when people get emotional, but cannot, retort intellectually because the information is so clear. So you have to lash out with some type of emotions, and we see that a lot of people lash out by, saying things negative about the other person or their way of life or whatever, and it's very sad. But we did see that, that they would try to change the subject. Oh, well, Islam is a violent religion. You're trying to call to the religion of Islam, it's violent, it's oppressive, and teachings all these crazy things. So we did see that, yeah.
How did you tackle this now? Because you'll see a lot of Islamophobia now, okay? You'll see people who want to get elected, and they'll also, because a lot of the people now, they're ignorant, they don't know. and the people who are supposed to have these degrees and they step up, instead of bringing people together and really trying to work towards peace, they start to divide people because they have an agenda. And people now, they end up blindly following a lot of these politicians, other people with agenda who are not working towards peace, and they start to create through this bigotry and, you know, stirring up people's emotions, and they start to separate us. We're human beings, we're brothers in humanity. So how would you, for instance, one film just came out. It was called Unwelcome.
Yes.
You know, the Muslims, your Muslim next door, right? So did you watch this film?
I did watch it.
What were your comments on this?
Well, realistically, you know, a lot of things that were put forward in Unwelcome is a way, you know, a portion of Americans do feel about Islam, and the world feels about Islam. But it's based on pure ignorance, which ignorance not being in the negative connotation of, ignorance just means lack of knowledge. You know, they just don't know. And the best way to deal with ignorance is to tell the truth and to make the truth known. If someone is ignorant about a subject, then the best way to cure that ignorance is with information. So, you know, what I have tried to do in my worldwide travels is just clearly give the real information out about Islam, tell people what Islam is really about, so that they can kind of sift through the misinformation, so that they can, when they see the TV or when they see the media representation of Islam, they can look and say, okay, wait a minute, this is not what Islam teaches. What they're saying and what Islam teaches are two completely different things. This is what we really want to do. The same way like they're trying to make dividing lines, you know, you're either with us or you're with them. So we're trying to make the dividing lines between what Islam is and what Islam is not. Very simple.
Now, we know that this is false, and you've heard this a lot. Why don't they come out and why don't they condemn acts such as 9/11, you know, the underwear bomber, the pajama bomber, the you know, the G-string bomber? I mean, but I mean, here at the Deen Show, I know you have, and we